What's going on, guys? We are here for our final part 3 of 20 days in Mariupol. This was 100% a suggestion from you guys in the comments, and I actually can't believe I've never seen this before. It's crazy, man. I first came to Ukraine in January of 2023, and so I wasn't around when the Mariupol stuff went down, but I've been here long enough to see some stuff, and this is still mind blowing to me. But what's even more mind blowing is the fact that how big of a deal this was, right? They're killing civilians and they're taking people captive and they're blowing up hospitals. But this is just a regular occurrence now. 3 years later, 4 years later, this is just what's happening. All right, anyways, we are running our fundraiser, you guys, for Azov's sniper team Tuman. It's kind of a, it's kind of ironic. We're doing this video 20 days to Mariupol, and Azov had one of their famous battles in Mariupol, the last stand of Mariupol, where basically they were credited, Azov and surrounding other Ukrainian units were credited with being able to hold the Russians long enough for other civilians to extract and evacuate the city, and for the Ukrainian military to set up more defenses in preparation of the further push. So this is very interesting. The original channel is Frontline PBS. Check them out, okay? Let's part 3. Let's go. Azov snipers, we're getting optics for them. Link in description. That's what I meant to say.
We drive back to catch a signal at the spot on Budivelnikov Avenue. It's still the only place where you can get internet. It's past curfew, so Vladimir accompanies us.
Вы, конечно, огромное дело сделали. Так бы никто не знал. А там файлы пошли, которые по поводу...
We check the news and speak to editors.
Sorry, what? Hold on. It's coming back. Hold on.
Это за гранью добра и зла.
Hold on.
Рецептор сносит.
This motherfucker is flying around. Hold on, I can hear him. I don't think there has been a moment today when there was not an airplane in the air. And the prognosis is very pessimistic. I think they'll take the left bank already.
I give them the latest, but there are disturbing updates for us.
Okay.
These women's stories have epitomized the tragedy unfolding in Ukraine. And yet even their suffering has been questioned, with Russian officials claiming on Twitter and in news programs that they must be actors.
Это так называемые фейковые новости и постановочные фото- и видеосъемки. Последняя такая подделка из Мариуполя.
This maternity hospital had already been seized by the Azov battalion and other radicals. All the pregnant women, all the nurses, all the service personnel were already expelled from there.
Якобы имевшая место авиаудар полностью режиссированная провокация.
Больницу превратили в съемочную площадку, пригласили статистов и актеров. Первым подготовил и опубликовал фотографии известный украинский пропагандист Евгений Малолетко, сотрудничающий с западными СМИ.
Это информационный
This is information terrorism.
That is disgusting, dude. Wow. They can't believe their own country's atrocities, that they have to try to do mental gymnastics and rationalize it as fake news, and it was a setup, and they were paid actors. Holy cow, dude. If you're doing that much mental gymnastics to try to protect your government's reputation, take a step back and look at yourself. And that goes for other countries as well, people in other countries as well.
That the pregnant woman on the stretcher survived.
It's not your responsibility.
So we went.
It's not your responsibility to protect your government's reputation. That's not your responsibility.
To search for her and other victims at the emergency hospital number 2. Soldiers are guarding the entrance.
You got the slides on, boy.
Vladimir says this is the red zone now. The Russians have entered the neighborhood. So he comes with us. Floor by floor, we search for the pregnant women. There is no maternity ward. So we try the surgery department.
Зашибись. Все, а? Не надо сделайте это мне. Проходите? Делай.
Surgeons are overwhelmed and low on painkillers.
Чтобы он не потерял. Да.
This piece of shrapnel was taken from a patient.
Сейчас я возьму крючок у кого-то.
Oh, shit.
Finally, we find one of the doctors who treated the woman on the stretcher.
Александрина, скажите, пожалуйста, после авиаудара вам привезли женщину беременную?
Привезли беременную женщину около 30 лет, первородящую, у которой были травмы, несовместимые с жизнью. Там был полностью раздроблен таз, и была огромная кровопотеря. Мы сделали все, что мы могли, но конец был не благоприятный. Женщина погибла. Ребенок тоже погиб внутриутробно. Извлекли уже мертвого ребенка.
Her name was Irina. They said she screamed, "Kill me," when they brought her. She knew her child was dead. Other survivors are here. One of them has just given birth. Another is taken to an operating room. She lost part of her foot in the bombing, and doctors worry about the child.
Давай, подожди, еще зажим, подожди. Дай мне его раз. Давай, ножки. Давай, подожди, сейчас. Давай. Вниз голову, вниз. Давай. Вот так. Головку чуть-чуть вниз. Давай, хорошо. Ну, давай, кто там не бежит? Девочка. Время сколько, скажите? Время. Хорошо. Давай.
Oh, fuck.
Ты такая маленькая.
О, она пережила разрушенный роддом 3, их разбомбили, привезли к нам. Они столько пережили с мамами, все, кто здесь, роженица. У нас же нет роддома. У нас гинекология. Построечки все. Там и детки. Кушать? Ну подожди, кись.
Все хотели кушать, да?
So the mom and the baby were in the other hospital that was bombed. They had to evacuate him to this hospital that was then bombed. She lost part of her foot. They had to do emergency extraction of the baby, and they're both alive. Oh my God.
Да, хотела есть. Да.
Делай такую, как использовала.
Imagine telling your kid that story.
Ты что, с самолета?
Да с самолетов, да, наверное, прячешь.
Давайте там походили.
Там Дашка вышла.
Все выйдите с операционной, все! Где Дашка наша?
We have to leave, but the corridors are filled with people who lost homes, relatives.
Пришли к брату. Все вместе. Что мне так страшно было. Спустились в подвал с детьми, женщины с детьми спустились в подвал. И прилетел снаряд во двор. Нас засыпало в погребе. Двоих детей они спасли. Девочка 7 лет и мальчик 5 лет. Что вам рассказать, что мы 2 недели в аду? Не знаешь, куда бежать.
You're gonna say these are paid
Кто нам
actors.
детей вернет?
That baby's a paid actor.
Кто?
We head to the exit, but it's too late. Soldiers say a sniper just shot and injured a nurse in front of the hospital.
По центральному входу, да? Там где-то там.
Соблюдение максимальной мер безопасности. Дайте дорогу.
Two soldiers are still trapped.
Влад 10-й.
Ты где?
За машиной сбоку.
Я тебя не вижу.
Это вокруг мы будем подпасывать. Тихо, тихо, тихо. Ты еще вправо до нас.
Смотри, закрыть.
Какого? Давай сюда. Красава, братик, красава!
Объясни нормально ситуацию. Раз-два.
Секундочку.
Выдохни.
Я покурю.
Давай. Так,
Заходите быстрее.
не видел ни одного.
Заходите ли вы?
Забирай. Да.
Здесь комиссар.
Делается. Пошли. Добрый. Ребенка не водите больше, только сами.
We hear a low rumble.
Shit. That's not what you want.
Там?
Не знаю, наверное.
Видно, да?
So we run to the 7th floor, to our observation point. It's risky. They can open fire at upper floors of the hospital. But from here, we can see more.
Сигнал. После второго границы. Там Отлично видим визуально, возле второй больницы. Напротив церкви, там, где стоят автобусы. Танки зашли с надписью Z.
Снимай. Сейчас верну.
Are they gonna capture me?
Сигнал. По улице Каприна еще 2 танка с надписью Z.
They are coming closer. If reinforcements don't arrive, the soldiers downstairs will not be able to stop them. They'll take over the hospital.
Возле церкви, как понял.
С той стороны, наверное, тоже пошли. Где?
Да. Что, прорвались, что ли?
Вообще не поднимается эту голову. Жень, голову опусти. Тут снайпер сидел, помнишь?
What should we do? We need to send all this footage. Survivors from the maternity bombing, tanks shooting at residential areas. There is no connection here, and we can't get to our car. And if we get caught, Vladimir says, Russians will make you say everything you published was a lie. The night is sleepless. Feverish thoughts of past, present, and future race through my mind. I want all of this to stop, but I have no power over it. My memory keeps carrying me back home and back to war. If someday my daughters ask me, what did you do to stop this madness? This sadistic virus of destruction? I want to be able to give them an answer. This is a special military task force. All night we hid inside the hospital, and Vladimir used the last of his radio's battery to contact them. This morning, they broke into the surgery department to rescue us. They said we were already behind the enemy lines. still wearing the scrubs the doctors gave us in case Russians entered the hospital that night.
Рома, пошли. Ромчик, веди, Ром. Ром, веди.
Бежи, бежи, бежи.
We run, abandoning the doctors who have sheltered us, pregnant women who had been shelled, the people who live in hospital corridors because they have nowhere else to go.
Все, идем, идем, идем. Прапор України, бач? В машину, вперед. Воздух!
The Russians took over the hospital a few hours after we escaped.
Wow.
They've taken the left bank, except the Azov steel factory. And they're closing in on the city center. Ukrainian forces fight back, but they are outnumbered. The city is slowly dying, like a human being. On the day we escaped from the hospital, the military task force moved us and Vladimir to an area still under Ukrainian control. And for days we tried to find a way to get out of the city with all the footage. March 13th. Shelling of residential areas continues.
Зачем это делать?
Ебать, кассеты какие-то, блядь! Его нет, все!
Without any information, people don't know who to blame.
Тебе не дали коридор, те, которые...
Я с вами это сделал.
Вы что? Ну наши все.
Кто нас бомбит?
Они нам даже не сказали,
Российская Федерация, самолеты вас
так
бомбят.
нашим сказали, вывезите деток вывезите.
Так они не дают.
Пожарные разогнали.
Пожарные 3 дня назад с самолета Российская Федерация разбомбила единственную пожарную станцию. Если вам интересно. Вам интересно, почему? Снимайте нас. Украинская армия.
Пожар вы вызываете, дебилы, снимаете!
Кто нас бьет, скоты? Что вы не можете стоять?
Сейчас. Vladimir keeps insisting we need to find a way to leave. But we no longer have our van. It was left behind in a hospital. And anyone who drives us with our cameras and hard drives through miles of occupied territory would be taking a risk. On March 15th, our editor sent us a message. Yesterday, some people were able to leave with a Red Cross convoy. And there is another one leaving today. We go to the last functioning hospital in the city. The Red Cross convoy has left.
Я не знаю, просто смотрела.
I wish I could do more. Stay longer, but we need to leave. One of the doctors tells us to follow him to the basement.
Смотрите, тут все классно. Сюда. Это все, которых неудобно спасти.
Лицо ему кто показывает? Ну вот. Совсем крошка. Тяжело. Очень тяжело. Ну, ко всему привыкаешь, но потом вечером это с головы не выходит.
We need to catch up with the convoy. Vladimir says he can try to take us with his car. I tell him it's dangerous, but he wants to help to get us and our materials out. And he still hopes if the world saw everything that happened in Mariupol, it would give at least some meaning to this horror. Vladimir's car was damaged by shelling, but miraculously still runs. We are with his family. We make it through 100 kilometers of occupied territory and 15 Russian checkpoints.
Jeez.
Cameras and hard drives hidden under seats. By dawn, we finally catch up with the Red Cross convoy.
Was someone riding on the hood of the car?
Yesterday, I told one of the officers who extracted us from the hospital, "Thank you for saving us." He said, "Thank you for telling the story of this city." And yet, as we drive away, I keep thinking about all the people whose tragedies will remain unknown. I will see my daughters, and I can only hope that these people survive and will be with their families too.
The total number of refugees who have fled Ukraine so far is now nearing 3 million.
And Russians continue to strangle and starve Mariupol.
Got some new video this morning of 2,000 cars that officials say managed to make it out of Mariupol through a humanitarian corridor that Russia did not renege on.
Devastating images are now emerging from Mariupol, where the mayor says the death toll could be as high as 20,000 since the war began.
Mariupol ist seit Tagen eingekesselt, ohne Strom und Wasser.
Leaving people without supply lines for food or water, without internet connection to the outside world.
It was a tragedy. This woman and her unborn child later died.
Now, we know about the atrocities that have been happening inside Mariupol because of journalists from the Associated Press. The only international reporters to remain after the Russian bombardment bore witness to what have become indelible images of the war.
AP reporters on the ground showed the world a mass grave in Mariupol.
I'm talking about narrow trenches in Mariupol with babies' bodies in. AP journalists have been there.
Since so many fakes, who wins the information war? The one wins the war.
Do you really truly believe this? Do you truly believe what you're saying?
This guy, Mislav Chernov, legend, dude. Wow. This and 2,000 meters to Andreevka, absolutely profound war documentaries. Seriously. I wish there was a way to pump this to more people and force people to watch it, right? Imagine now, after watching this, right? If you stayed and you watched through this whole series with me, thank you, first of all. Second of all, imagine now people who still are thinking Russia is in the right here. There's still people to do that. There's Americans that are doing that. Maybe we should get Donald Trump to watch this video. What do you guys think? Petition for Trump to watch 20 days in Mariupol? Man, heavy stuff. Well, like I said, I appreciate you guys sticking around. These series they're great, man. You guys seem to really like them, and I enjoy watching them with you because I learn a lot as well. So please check out Frontline PBS. That's the channel that uploaded this originally. I'll link their channel and this original video in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe on this channel as well, you guys. We just hit 40,000 subs. I can't thank you enough. And let's shoot for 50K. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next video.